Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Neil. I promised you guys on my Instagram that I would do a video where I went through my editing process and kind of just explained some of how I come up with some of the looks I come up with, or just, you know, breaking down my edits or whatever the case may be. And today I wanted to kind of do that and just show you guys what I do and how I make it come to life in Lightroom. That is usually the only software that I use. Some people use Photoshop, some people use Lightroom, some people use all kinds of other softwares. I don't particularly care for using anything other than Lightroom. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm going to start dabbling in Photoshop, but Lightroom is kind of my main thing. I love Lightroom. I think it's very simple and it makes complete sense, at least to me. Whenever I'm using it, I don't feel confused about what I want to do or how I want an image to come out. But just like most things, it takes practice. So today I'm just going to show you guys a short run through of a photo shoot I did of one of my friends at night, and kind of show you what it looks like when I start working on my images and stuff like that. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna open up Lightroom Classic. See, it's opening up there. Random. So what you want to do is when you want to import your photos, what you'll do is you'll put in import. I'll go over to my hard drive over here, click on the one I want to import. While it's importing, I click develop, and as it'll load up, it'll take a second. Now, working with Lightroom, you can easily, and this is one random thing real quick, you don't have to have such a what do you call it, softer thing to edit on, profile. It's just, you can use a soft one or you can use a hard one. I prefer this. Personally, it works a lot better for me. It's easier on my eyes. A lot of people forget that when you're working with photos, you're going to be looking at this image and looking at the screen for very long periods of time. So you want your eyes to be as easy going as, you don't want to hurt your eyes by looking at something that's hurting your face or hurting your eyes or whatever the case may be. You don't want to be looking at something for so long that hurts your eyes. For me, I get headaches behind my eyes sometimes, and that's because I'm looking at a phone screen all day, I'm looking at a TV screen, whatever. So we have so many screens around us all the time. You want to make sure that you're not overly stimulating your eyes too much, if that makes sense. All right, so we're gonna slide over to the first image. That is the first one. Beautiful, isn't she? Great person, great model. So the first things first is, yes, I used a little light to give some light on the face. I didn't use flash until a little bit later on in the photo shoot. So that means we're gonna have to bump up some of the light. So you're gonna slide down right here. Some people use the tone curve. I'll save that for another video. But for right now, we're gonna just stick with right here, this section right here. So I'm gonna bump up the shadows, and right away you can see a difference. That's at 100. You can see a difference. You can bump up the overall exposure to 80, and you can actually see the little chain that she has on her neck. Before you couldn't see it, and I don't want to bump it up so much that it takes away from the image, if that makes any sense. I don't want it to be something like that. That's too much. And you can see over here in the upper right hand, the histogram, you can see like where it's saying like, okay, it's too bright, it's not bright enough, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think right there is pretty good. I know that seems a little crazy having it at 100, but it's not that crazy, I promise. So then I'm gonna go down to textures. This is really how you make your images softer or sharper, depending on what it is you're going for. Me personally, I usually like my images to be as soft as possible, but also mainly on the person's face, but not so much the overall image, if that makes any sense. So I'll go over here, I'll click this, and it says select subject. Lightroom, again, is like dummy proof. It makes it so easy. So what it does is it literally, it highlights her, and I can go down and I can even expose just her. I can do any number of things, right? So texture, usually I'll bring that down to like 16. Clarity, depending on what it is I'm doing, I'll either go that way or this way, but tonight I am going to the left as well. You see what happens when it like adds texture, obviously. It adds texture to the image, so you want to smoothen it out, boom, done. And just like that, she is smoothened, and not so much the overall image, if that makes sense. So we're gonna go down past that. Once you get to the point where you're starting to work on your images, you're starting to make them look the way that you want them to look, in the sense of like the technical aspects of things, like making sure there's no blemishes on the skin, making sure there's nothing in the background that's crazy, whatever the case may be. Making sure your exposure is correct. Then you want to get to the creative side of things. And I mean, those other things can be creative in and of themselves, but for the most part, I find most creativity with whenever I start playing around with the colors and trying to make it look a certain way. But this is the color wheel. This is your midtones, your shadows, and your highlights. Now, some people, whenever they're using this, they use it in a very different way than I will. You're gonna see me do things that are very different from some other people may do. And that's okay. Everybody's different, everybody works differently. I like the color of the image already, but there's always something extra that you can do. You see, like right there, kind of makes it a little bit less yellowy, makes it a little bit more of a natural skin tone. Right there, I'm cool with that. But just like when you were in middle school or when you're in kindergarten, when you mix colors, you get certain differences in like the way the image looks. You get a whole different thing, It doesn't always come out exactly the way that you would think it does. But right, I mean, it seems like there hasn't been nothing done to it, but I promise you, a lot has been done in that little space of time. And really, this image didn't need necessarily a lot of work. So, a little trick for those out there who may wonder, when you're done with that, if you feel comfortable with where it's at, and I do, I'll say copy. And I'll go to the next image. Paste. Done. And that way you save yourself a lot of time. Obviously, as you go along, if the image isn't looking right, you make adjustments. If you feel like the copy that you did for this one doesn't fit the next one, make adjustments. That's why it's important to learn all of these tools that you have in Lightroom. All of these tools work together. Every single one of them does. But yeah, looks great. Looks awesome. But I know for certain that where is it? Sorry, trying to find the image. So at some point we went to do photos with Flash. So here we are. This is how I edit some of my pictures, just some. Let's try the preset, right? So we're gonna paste. It's too bright. It doesn't have enough color, personally, at least for me. So what I would do is I would bring that down just a smidge. Obviously, you don't want to take away all your brightness or whatever the case may be, but it looks good, but something's different. Yep, bring down the highlights. All right, so you come over here to texture. You can slide it over just a little bit. Right there, make the overall image softer. It was a little harsh. These, you can mess with them, but they literally change this skin tone, or yeah, skin tone and stuff like that. So whatever specific color that may be in the image, if it's here, sometimes you can, you know, brighten it or take it away, whatever the case may be. But for this one, we can add just a little bit. Come back down here, and personally, I feel like this could have a little bit more color. So we're gonna go here, yeah. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I'm cool with the color for the most part. I don't want purple in this. See, again, and you can, if the further out you slide this, the more intense the color that it will be. And obviously, like I said before, each part controls different sections of the skin and all of those types of stuff. You want more red in your image, you can get more red. You want more, I don't know, any number of things. I actually do kind of like the more reddish kind of look. I'm gonna try and do something, again, here comes the creative side of things. You can go all the way, but yeah, so for me, I'm cool with where that color is at. I'm cool with it. I think there's enough of the image that is shown. I really just wanted to focus on her for the most part, and obviously this section in her hair right here. Yeah, so we're going to skip to another photo. Sorry. Skip to another photo. This one is also, again, very artsy, very cool. Boom. Copy and paste, just like that. But the exposure is just a little too high for me, just a little bit. Highlights a little. So there's already a few things that I noticed that I want to take off, right? There's this little thing on her elbow. So you click this tool right here. I can't remember the name right now, so forgive me. But spot removal. You click spot removal. Now spot removal what it does essentially is it copies a section of whatever it is that you're trying to erase. It copies a section of whatever it is you're trying to erase, and it literally will take let's say there's a spot on my face right now where my hand is, and so I'll take the spot removal and I'll copy that section, and then copy another section that has the same brightness, skin tone right over here, and it'll copy it over here, and then no longer will that spot be on my face. So let me show you. It's a bit big, so let's bring that down in size. And there's any number of things you can do with it. You can just click on it like that, and boom, it'll go away. Or for something like this, you can drag, and that goes away. But I prefer the click. The clicking, it usually automatically goes to a section that has a similar light or texture to the other images. We'll go closer here. Oh, she's probably gonna kill me for this, but just as simple as, you know, taking away any blemishes, nothing crazy. See, just like that, it's gone. Just like that. And a lot of people, for those of you who are not at the point where you have a computer yet, please do not feel bad, or do you feel like you don't have the tools to do this, to do what I'm doing. I'm here to tell you that that's not true. It's very untrue. You can do exactly what I'm doing right now on my computer. Maybe not at the same exact level or detail, but you can do it. I used to edit on my phone for the most part, and that seems crazy, but it's the truth. I used to edit on my phone, and I still do it sometimes. Sometimes I'll just be on the run and I want an image to go up, and I see something that I didn't realize before, and I'll go back into my phone, right into Lightroom app, open it up, fix whatever I need to fix, and then I go about my day. The beautiful thing about this is it's more about the beauty of the image than it is anything else. Nothing else matters more than the beauty of the image. So as long as the image looks at like a quality that makes sense or looks good, then that's all that matters. So we're gonna do one more image because I believe that image looks great. We're gonna do one more, and then we're gonna go, and I'm gonna call it a video. All right, so I was using my little light that I'm using right now for some extra side profile for my light. It's not the brightest light, so forgive me. But it gave me the color that I wanted, because I knew in post when I brighten it up, the color's gonna stay there. So I'm gonna brighten this up, not a lot, you know, bring up some of the shadows. All right, exposure. And I like it. I mean, there's really not much that you really need to necessarily do to this. Bring down the texture and clarity. Going close. Fix that. And sometimes you have to go back over again. That's when you have to use that type of tool. See, gone, boom. Let me see. Should I bump up the exposure just a little bit more? All right, you can go down here. And again, you can make it look how you want it to look. You can intensify or cut through. I think cutting through makes it look interesting. It always comes down to what you want it to look like, literally. How you want it to come out is how it will be. But I am cool with the red. I'm cool with the intensity of the red. And that is that. That's one of the images. Let me copy that. Let's go over here and see how this one looks. Let me see if it looks. That looks great to me. But again, this is a personal, photography is personal. So when you're editing, when you're filming, when you're taking photos, whatever the case may be, whatever you're doing, whenever you come into Lightroom and you're editing your pictures and you're working on your stuff, it's up to you how you want it to look, how much work you want to put into it. This is just a very light example of what it's like to edit sometimes photos and how they come out, but I'm definitely gonna keep on doing more videos like this where I'm sitting in front of the camera talking and editing photos and showing you what I do in different situations. I'm not really a person who likes necessarily taking night photos. I'm still learning, but at the end of the day, you know, I think that pushing yourself is important. So I'm pushing myself. I'm doing things that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. Even showing you my process is a little uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an awkward experience. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on trying and keep on growing. And I hope you guys stay along for the journey. But yeah, see you guys in the next video. More than likely sometime in a few more days, you'll see another Behind the Lens episode for those who want to watch. But yeah, for my Lightroom friends out there, for those people who love editing and watching people edit, this is your video. It was great working on this video. It was great working with this whole setup. I mean, it's a new experience for me. I'm still learning, and I don't know everything. I don't ever claim to know everything. I don't even know a lot. I still am a baby within this whole ecosystem of photography and artistry, but I do know some things, and what I do know I will share, and I enjoy sharing. I enjoy learning and showing you guys that I'm learning along with you guys. So for me, this is what I want to do. This is what I love to do, and I hope I gain the supporters to keep doing what I'm doing. Like, share, subscribe, please. It helps the algorithm. It helps push the video, and I need subscribers. So yeah, at the end of the day, I hope you guys like the video. I hope you guys rock with my whole editing process. It's nothing crazy. I just wanted to kind of go with something light this time and show you guys just the basics of what I do, what I don't do, what I like to see in my images, what I don't like to see, what I look for in changing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Look for another Behind the Lens episode, probably in the next couple of days, maybe a day or two after this one drops. And then next week you'll see another editing video of me explaining more about you know, what other processes I go through to edit videos and stuff like that. I'm still deciding on what it's going to be called, but anyway, I enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys in the next video.